Hi folks, thanks for joining me again. I'm going to take you through a complete unboxing and a few comments on Yes's brand new Aurora album here shortly, but I thought it'd be appropriate to go back in time a little bit just to trace the lineage of the various lineup changes over the years that have brought us to this point. Geoff Downes had joined the band once again. Many of you might recall that he had been a member of Yes back in 1980 for the Drama album. But when the band were recording Fly From Here with Trevor Horn at the production desk, Geoff was brought in as a permanent member once again to see the band through that album. And in 2012, John Davidson joined as the permanent lead singer following the departure of Benoit David, who had been with the band for the Fly From Here album. 2015 sadly saw the passing of the giant of the band, Chris Squire, on bass and background vocals. But prior to his passing, Chris had extended an invitation to his dear friend Billy Sherwood to step in his role, and Billy did so for the band's tour with Toto that year. 2016 saw the addition of a new member with Jay Shellen supplementing the drum set with Alan White for the Topographic Drama Tour. And after the 2019 Royal Affair Tour, everything went on hiatus for several years due to the COVID pandemic, but grasping that opportunity, Steve Howe assumed the producer's desk and invited all of the members virtually to submit material, which would eventually become 2021's The Quest. By 2022, with the touring circuit opening up again after the worst of the COVID pandemic, the band went out on tour to support the Quest album, as well as to mark the 50th anniversary of Close to the Edge. However, it was with a heavy heart due to the passing of Alan White, which led to Jay Shellen assuming permanent drumming duties. And that would lead us to the lineup that produced not only The Quest, the follow-up Mirror to the Sky, but also Aurora, the brand new album in 2026, which in many ways is the third album in a trilogy featuring very much of the same album's lineup, with Howe producing all three records. And with the release of Aurora, as you would expect, the various band members have gone out on the publicity circuit to promote the album. In a press release, Steve Howe indicated that the band were in fact looking forward with the new album, being experimental, maintaining their progressive roots. But I would argue that there's also another aspect of the album. Not only are there are new sounds, there are things that make your ears perk up and think, that's new, that's something different, the band's going in a different direction. There's also some moments that pay homage to the band's glorious history. The presence of the orchestra, once again, as it was on The Quest and Mirror to the Sky, similar to Time and a Word back from the very earliest days of Yes. There's many progressive moments that'll mirror some of the 1970s epics. There's a touch of the Drama album, which I'll discuss in more detail later. There's hints of some of the vocals that you might have heard on the 90125 album. A little bit of the late 90s feel of the latter. So in many ways, it's a combination of many aspects of Yes's history, yet again, new ideas, which is very much standard for Yes after all of these years, always looking into the future and being progressive. The promotional videos for the two lead singles are actually very clever, both filled with Easter eggs that point to special moments in Yes's history. For example, in the Aurora video, as the protagonist is driving down a road, if you look off in the distance, you can see hot air balloons that are decked out similarly to the hot air balloons that were utilized to promote the album Tales from Topographic Oceans back in 1973. And the video for Turnaround Situation features the mannequin head that was shown on the cover of the Yes album. There isn't much to say about the lead-off single Aurora that hasn't already been said. In fact, most of you have probably already heard it or seen the promotional video. If not, I'll include a link to the promo video in my video description. To my ears, it was the logical choice for the lead-off track, perhaps because it's easily the most accessible, and if radio-friendly is still a term anymore. The orchestration has used to great effect, but it's absolutely not to the diminishment of the keyboards provided by Geoff Downes, and in this example, John Davidson did some keyboards as well. they are very much still prominent and high in the mix. Turnaround Situation is a prime example of how well these last three albums have been produced under the guidance of Steve Howe, along with engineer Curtis Schwartz. Turnaround Situation features trademark Yes harmonies, wide variety of guitar sounds from Howe. It's almost as if he brought his entire guitar collection to these studio sessions. My only minor quibble with the song is the vocal arrangement that closes off the song. It's a highlight for me. It's absolutely gorgeous and it leaves you wanting more. It's a shame they didn't expand on it. And it's indicative of multiple little examples of unexpected treats peppered throughout the album that makes your ears perk up. In a moment where the band could have been lazy and just done something repetitiously, they've turned that on their head and threw in a new element that just grabs your attention, and the album is all the stronger for it. And the fact that it is the band's stable lineup now for practically the last three albums means that these gentlemen all know each other very, very well. They're much more comfortable creating with each other, and that shines through on each and every track on the album. The third track on the album, Love Lies Dreaming, includes some really interesting time and tempo changes throughout the number. Starts off with a nice synth intro, I believe by John Davidson, and segues into an absolutely gorgeous acoustic guitar section from Steve Howe. Billy Sherwood provides some wonderful background vocals that really have the same feel and the same vein as a lot of Chris Squire's vocal embellishments on a lot of Yes classics over the years, and it works really, really nicely. Next up, Counter Movement is the album's longest track, or the epic, I suppose, at just under 14 minutes. The Tarot opener is Howe-centric just by virtue of the fact that he has a sole writing credit on it. It could have easily been placed on Mirror to the Sky, a lot of similar guitar tones there. The Howe Downs Anytime Soon section features Howe on vocals, which for those of you who've been paying attention is nothing new. Steve has been doing some lead vocals going back as far as Fly From Here, Return Trip, some on The Quest, and Mirror to the Sky as well. Blink of an Eye features some really nice harmonies, and for me I find that John Davidson's vocals here are very reminiscent of his work on Subway Walls, probably the standout track from Heaven and Earth from a number of years ago. Again, some interesting time and tempo changes, keyboard flourishes from Downs in particular stand out on this one. How a slide guitar makes an appearance as the song enters the last segment, the instrumental Freedom's Edge. And the epic concludes with an a cappella reprise of some of the lyrics from Blink of an Eye. And overall, just absolutely wonderful little piece, and I'm glad they included this on the album. Ariadne is the second song on the album and the only other song to feature orchestral embellishments, and it kicks off in grand style. Davidson is in fine voice. There's definitely some mythological lyrical content here. The Sherwood and Shell and rhythm section is the backbone for a good portion of the song. Work really, really well together, as all Yes rhythm sections have done over the decades. While very different in style, I find it somewhat reminiscent of Madrigal from the Tormato album. In fact, I recently told a friend that Ariadne sort of reminded me of Madrigal as if it had been written by Isaac Asimov or another science fiction writer. It's got some very spacey moments, Downs applying some synths to the song. It works really, really well. Sherwood comes to the fore around the 3:30 mark with lead vocals, which highlights one of the strengths of Aurora. There's small surprises around each and every corner, and I mentioned that before. It's just all these little things that just pop out and grab your attention and force you to pay attention. And while not overwhelming, the orchestration is used here to very good effect, perhaps even better than on the title track, Aurora. In a recent interview, John Davidson had indicated that the song had been put on the shelf for a while before Jeff came back with an intro and more ideas for later in the song, which helped to bring it back to life. It had been considered for one of their earlier albums. And for me, All Hands on Deck is one of those standout tracks. It kicks off with a really crunchy guitar tone from Steve. Downes provides keys on the bridge. The song is highly reminiscent of, and in my opinion, could have found a home on the Drama album. The final few moments of All Hands on Deck recall some of the softer sections of Machine Messiah, which I love. I'd be curious to know if in the comments section if anybody else feels the same way. And to say that Outside the Box is aptly titled would be the understatement of the album. It's 4 minutes and 18 seconds chock full of familiar Yes sounds, thundering basses, a cappella voices reminiscent of Leave It from 90125, great keyboard fills from Geoff Downes, yet it features even more unique guitar work from Steve Howe. So it seems to have it all. It's progressive, something different, yet it does have a little bit of ear candy there for long-term fans to say, yep, that does sound a bit familiar, but highly enjoyable. Emotional Intelligence is another John Davidson song. It's gorgeous and a highlight for me. John's in fine voice here, and he just seems to go from strength to strength from album to album. I'm going to go out on a limb and say something that might sound blasphemous. I honestly believe that Emotional Intelligence could have been a Disney movie song. It just sort of has that feel, and if you listen to it and you know what I'm talking about, you hear the same things that I'm hearing. Yet it works beautifully as a Yes song. Jay Shellen kicks in at roughly the midpoint of the song to carry things home. Another great addition to the album. And although a bonus track, Jambustin does offer some unique sounds for a Yes album, yet the obvious playfulness keenly reminds me of some of the vibes from The Ladder. I'm not sure why, but I just think The Ladder when I think of this song. Howe provides an Eddie Cochran type riff at a few key moments. Downes lays down a nice keyboard landscape, and Davidson's in fine form. And so a great addition, even though it's a bonus track. And what I think is probably one of the hidden gems on the album is Watching the River Roll, Billy Sherwood song. It has the feel of Your Move from the old Yes days, which works really, really well, I think, in this context. The surprises continue with Billy kicking things off on lead vocals. John Davidson eventually joins him. They trade off vocals as the song progresses in a way that I think feels very unique. And Jay Shellen provides a solid backup. Downes has his moments. It's a true band composition, works really, really well. Even though technically it's credited to just Billy Sherwood, everybody chimes in and makes it a true Yes song. And as I said, a real gem. And I think it's beyond doubt that Aurora will find a warm welcome with fans of the last two albums of The Quest and Mirror to the Sky. But will it attract new listeners? The short answer is it definitely should. I honestly feel as if there's plenty for fans of Yes to appreciate here. Here's hoping that they'll all give it a listen, or two or three at least, in the timeless spirit of all things Yes. I really do believe that it's a wonderful addition to the canon of the Yes discography, and it deserves to be heard. So thanks for listening, folks. We really appreciate your time. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, liking the video, drop me a comment. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, sit back and relax, and I will take you through the unboxing of this wonderful new package, the deluxe edition of Yes's Aurora. It's great to see you as always. And here we go with the unboxing of the deluxe edition of Yes's 24th studio album, Aurora. Fantastic artwork from Roger Dean and his daughter Freya. Quick look at the spine. And for those of you new to my videos, the unboxing tends to be quite minimalistic on my part. I like the video and the music to do the talking. Quick look at the back and the contents. Unfortunately, I can't speak to the quality of the Dolby Atmos mix, but the 5.1 mix is absolutely gorgeous. Once again, as with The Quest and Mirror to the Sky, Steve has done a wonderful job on production. Quick peek at the first of the two green vinyls. Beautiful. Look at the double CD. First one, stereo mix, contains the entire album and bonus tracks. Second CD is pretty much a duplicate, only instrumental versions. Blu-ray disc contains 3 mixes of the entire album, but we'll get to that in a moment. You always take a peek at the hype sticker. Hold on to this one. Blu-ray contains the stereo mix, the 5.1, and the Dolby Atmos mix. And now we'll take a look inside. One of the most attractive features of this release is the font that's used for the lyrics. Very reminiscent of Roger's font from the Close to the Edge album insert. A nice little nod and a wink to the past. Very in-depth history of the creation of the Aurora album. And fantastic cover artwork. So fitting for the title. Great picture on the left of Roger along with Steve and John. And the band goes track by track through the album, discussing each one of the songs in detail. Complete credits on the right. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Douglas and Glenn, the Gottlieb brothers. Another example of their fantastic work. Second green vinyl. Again, the production qualities here are stunning. Inside Out has done a wonderful job. One other thing that I should mention, tucked up in this little envelope in the upper right corner, along with the second piece of vinyl, is the poster. And we'll get a better look at that here. 2 feet by 3 feet. And there you go, folks. The deluxe edition with green vinyl, double CD and Blu-ray of Yes's 24th studio album, Aurora. Thanks again for watching. Take care.